All right, so today we're going to be installing the RealWheels EV Rivian Horn. We got our kit right here. We got our tools that we need. We got the 8 mil, 10 mil, 13 mil, got a wrench, pretty much all you need. Start with lowering the vehicle, put it in its lowest settings, just easier to work around. Then go ahead and open the hood and remove the front trim panel. This is an older build or an earlier one, so it has magnetic retention on it, but some of the newer ones will have clips that you pop out. Now that tool that we give you in the kit is perfect for this. Go ahead and remove these two Christmas tree clips, one on each side of the vehicle. Just simply slide it under and pry up. Now you're going to take the two side panels and lift them. Now there's a bunch of clips. It's not quite as smooth as what this looks like, but it's not too bad. Wherever you feel pressure, just pull it a little harder and they'll pop right up. Now here, Ron forgot what we're actually doing, but we're taking the top panel here and we're gonna lift that first. This is like the windshield cowl piece. Once you get it to go, it kind of comes up a little easier. There are a lot of clips. Again, anywhere that you got pressure, just lift and kind of give it a pop, just like that, and that'll come off. Now back to what Ron was doing. To hold down the tub, there's 6 bolts. And of those 6 bolts, you want to go ahead and get your 10 mil socket out. We'll use power tools. You can do this with a ratchet if you want, but go ahead and take them all out. Josh is doing a couple on the other side. There's 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 1 on each side. Take those and put them aside. Now what you have to do is get the LED lights that you have in your tub. You got to disconnect the plug. And each plug has a little tab on it. You want to push downward on the tab. Don't try lifting it, you'll break the tab off. Push down while pulling out. So it's hard to see kind of in here, so we show you a little better on the other side. You can lift the tub to do it, but as you see here, you want to simply push down on that tab while pulling outward, and that plug will come right out. Once you have those done, just put the wires to the middle, grab a friend, and lift, tip, and you're free. The whole tub comes out. Now this is what you're going to be looking at. And I know it could be a little scary, but trust me, I'll walk you through this. So we got all your tools. Like I said, 8 mil, 10 mil. We have the 13 or ½ inch along with a wrench. So you're going to take your kit, open it up just like you see right here. And your wire harnesses all come pre-attached. So we're already connected to the horn. We're already connected to the relay. You don't have to worry about any of that. The horn actually pivots, just like you see. It's not actually tight yet. So you're going to go ahead and set that in place just loosely inside, and we're going to route that long wire harness. So you want to route it upwards behind the headlight and out the top. And then the other one goes underneath the bracket leg towards the front. So take your same tool that you have, the trim removal tool, pop up on this clip, and go ahead and set the horn right behind that wire harness. And the leg will actually line up with that same slot that was in the vehicle. Once it's all lined up, go ahead and just push the clip in place. That'll hold that down. Now take your nut and bolt. Make sure that the bolt goes from the inside of the vehicle towards the outside. You don't want the excess thread to actually be sticking out, otherwise it'll hit the tub. But fasten those together, and now you can grab either your ½ inch or 13 millimeter, pretty much interchangeable for this. Get your wrench and socket and tighten that up. Now, Josh forgot to show it here, but you need to take that same wrench and snug up on the horn itself, to the bracket, because it did pivot. Now it's in position. You can actually tighten it. Now next, you're going to locate the factory horn. Right down here, there's a little tab. You're going to press and pull it at the same time. That'll get the plug to come out, and you're going to plug it right into the Y connector that we provide. Then you take the other end of the Y and go ahead and push it right back into the horn, and you'll hear a click. And when you hear that click, you know that you're all set and it's securely in there. Now take this long portion of the harness, and you're going to run it right along the factory harness. Yep, right here. You kind of tuck it inside. Now when we get up to the top, I like to put it right behind the cowl clip that's there. I think it's a nice way to keep it, out of the way. I know some people have run it in front of all of that. That works too. We kind of like to stick right here. Now you want to grab the shroud around the air filter, lift that up. This is the cabin air filter. Just take the shroud, simply lifts up right against the hood. Now you're ready to hook up your power. You're going to locate this ground. We're going to do that first. It's an 8mm. Simply remove the bolt. Do not drop this bolt. It's so easy to drop, and it will take you longer to drop it or find it than it will for probably anything else. But we take the ground, run it right under that factory wire right there, and put it, the terminal back in place where that bolt was, and then go ahead and just tighten up that bolt again using the 8mm socket. So once you have the ground all set, you're going to grab your trim tool again, which has that little tab depressor on it, and we're going to take off the battery block cover. So there's the little tabs here. Simply press in to release them. A couple that go around it, push in, release, and that whole cover will come off. Now note that this is all positive power right here. You don't want to touch multiple ones together. You don't want to ground one of them. And now you're going to grab your positive power cable, your 12-volt power. Now Josh left the fuse connected to it. I don't know why, but he says it's easier to grab it while he's routing the wires. But take that fuse and set that aside. And then go ahead and take the entire power cable with the inline fuse at the end of it there. And you're going to put that right over that terminal and grab the nut that you just took off, put it back on and tighten up again with the 13 mil. When you do it, just don't touch anything else. Tighten it up. There you go. If you do not have the factory fuse, you're going to take the supplied spacer, slide it right over the post, then go ahead and place your ring terminal right on top, and take the supplied 8mm nut, 13mm hex, and go ahead and put that down. Then you're going to grab your 13mm socket again and tighten it up. And this is what it should look like when you're finished. Now we're going to actually see if we can get this thing to work. So open up your fuse cover, take your fuse and put it in. You can put it in either way, doesn't matter. Just make sure it's fully seated. Close up the cover, make sure that's fully seated. And now go ahead and test out your horn. Should be a pretty good sound. Yeah, I'd say it's not too bad. And now actually grab the cover and you can put it right back on. So just make sure when you put it on, you clip everything in place. Sometimes they don't go back in as smooth. You got to give it a good little push. Now you can take your shroud, the air filter shroud, it slides right back down, and that's all you got to do for that. Now you're ready to button it up. So we provide you with 6 zip ties. Go ahead and put 2 of them around on the bottom is where we do it here by the bracket, going into the factory horn. And you're not trying to put these things on and tie on for dear life. You're just trying to make it so the wires don't move around and keep them snug. Now running along the top edge here on the driver's side, we do 3 zip ties. Same thing, you're just gonna fasten it to the factory harness that's right there, just to keep it in line. You're not over tightening or anything. You're just gonna go ahead, put them on nice and snug. So Josh did this top one. He thought he was funny and he ended up pulling it and actually snapping it, but we got it all taken care of there. Now you put it around here, right by the fuse holders, where the 6th one goes, just like that. And now come back with your snips or side cutters and just trim off the excess. I know some people have left this stuff on. Personally, I just take it off. It looks a lot better. So just go ahead and clip all that away. And once you do, now you're basically ready to put the tub in. So just like you got it out, slide it right back in with a friend. Get it to go in. Now you got to remember to plug these in, the LED lights. If you look inside, you'll see when he gets it in, the light will go on, just like that. And then you can set down the tub and make sure it's all seated properly. Once it's good, grab those 6 bolts that we removed earlier and get your 10 mil socket out. Again, whether you use a ratchet or some power tools, that's fine. But put those 6 back in, and then go ahead and tighten them all up. And you don't have to over tighten, you're just touching off, make sure everything's good and snug. And now once you have those in, next up is the rear cowl by the windshield here. And you want to make sure all these pieces, when they go back on, you want to check for your clips. Make sure all your clips are in place, everything's lined up the way it should. And then you're just going to set it kind of on top loosely. You'll feel where it kind of just sits, how it sits right. And once you got it in the correct spot, then you just go ahead and start pushing down. You'll hear them all pop in. Make sure you push it all the way across. Anywhere that seems like it's up, give it a little tap, and they'll go right down. And now you got the 2 side pieces. So you grab those. Again, you can verify, make sure all your clips are there, everything's good, all the pieces that you need. Hopefully you didn't break any removing them, but we've also put some of these on without all the clips in, and no real issues, as long as you got enough for retention. But go ahead and line it all back up, the little rubber seal there. Push everything down, make sure, again, you hear them pop, click in place. And then up top, don't forget your Christmas tree, your little clip. All you got to do is simply just push it in, and you're good to go. 1 on each side, up there by the windshield. After that, you take your front trim panel. Again, ours was an earlier build than this one, so they're magnetic. Very simple. Some of the other ones, you'll have to actually push your clips back in place. But that's really about it. Close up the hood, and time to give the horn one more test just to make sure everything's all good. Yep, I would say it's all good. Great job. You're all finished. Congrats.